Hello and welcome to Spotlight on Newcastle County, which features all things Newcastle County, Delaware. I'm your host, Tony Prado, and you never know who we're going to talk to or where we're going to visit. And today I'm pleased to welcome back to the NCCTV studio County Councilman David Tackett, who represents the Bear and Glasgow area, as well as Alex Groop. They are both here to talk about Serve Day, which was held recently in Greater Newark by True Life Church. I want to thank you both for being here, gentlemen.
Good.
Thank you for having us.
To begin with, so we know you, Councilman Tackett. Alex, I guess, can you tell us about your role with the so-called Serve Day?
Yeah, so I am the outreach and missions pastor at True Life Church. So my job was kind of to coordinate the projects that we'd be working on last Saturday.
Okay. So last Saturday, July 16th, the crew and I were at Delaware City Day Parade. Councilman Tackett, you're trying to call me. You sent me a text. My phone was dead because of the heat, and I finally got some juice in it when we got back in the car. But it was, let me just start right there. It was a hot day. So you had your challenges to begin with for Serve Day. How did you get through that part? A lot of water ice.
Yeah, we had one of our volunteers, Brenda. She was driving around in her minivan all day, and she was taking water and Gatorade to all of our different teams that needed it. And she also would give people rides to different projects we had going on in the community, or just let people hang out in the van for a little bit and cool off. And also Paula Clem, our contact at Springwood, allowed people to come into her home and just kind of cool off for a couple minutes. So we were able, I mean, it was really hot, but we could cool off periodically throughout the day.
Yeah. So as the name would imply, Serve Day involves service. Can you tell us about how this concept of Serve Day came together last Saturday?
Sure. Yeah, so our church is a part of an organization called the Association of Related Churches, and they sponsor the Serve Day event. So last week, there were 306 churches in 47 different states that participated in what they call Serve Day. So we were the only church participating here in Delaware, but we just loved the concept and the idea of what they had going, and we decided to jump in and help.
All right. Now, Serve Day was held in the 11th District, which is your district, Councilman. What area specifically in Greater Newark was Serve Day held?
Well, the opportunity arose when they contacted our office to let us know they were trying to search out a community that was in need of help, and we looked over our district to try to find a community that could actually use the service that day the most, because they were out there, they were going to organize their volunteers and send them to the community, but there had to be a need there. So we sent them into a community off of Porter Road in 896 that was in desperate need of help in there, as far as they mowed grass all day, they trimmed bushes, they put on storm doors, they did minor repairs. One resident was a deployed serviceman. They went in and helped fix up stuff on their house.
Oh, wow.
They had brought out a drone and had the drone active in the community, helping look at the work that needed to be done and was being done. And they were working it was amazing the amount of work they were doing. When I drove in to take a look to see what was going on that day, I could not believe they had a huge utility trailer that the members had brought in, and they had just stacked it full of lawnmowers and weed whackers and leaf blowers and all your lawn equipment, and pulled it out, and they just had it stretched all through the road there, and each of them grabbed something and they went, and nobody was sitting idle. Everybody was willingly looking for their next job, as they were finishing up lunch and looking to send them back out into that community. The amount of work and their outreach was amazing that day. I was overwhelmed to see what they were doing.
Wow. Well, how many volunteers came out for Serve Day?
We had 54 volunteers.
Okay.
8 of them stayed at the church and took care of childcare, and the 46 rest of us went out into the community and were serving.
Wow. And all in all, how would you say, these, Councilman Tackett, you mentioned all the different things people were doing, whether it was fixing storm doors or yard work, whatever. How would you say, all these little projects went, all in all?
Overall, I think they were very successful. Some of them were as simple as mowing the lawn and weed whacking. We did have one gentleman who needed a new storm door, so we were able to find a gently used one from a member of our congregation, provide that for him, fix his door frame, which needed a little bit of work, and put that in. So overall, I think it was a huge success, a couple larger projects like that, and mostly just little things to make people feel better about their homes.
And this is also a community where we have struggled with code issues, there for a long time. So the work that they were doing was our property maintenance issues. So they were helping the residents, not only do the routine maintenance that they were looking for in their house, but also helping them be code compliant with the Newcastle County.
Now, I'm curious, what time did you guys start on Saturday morning, and what time did you end?
Yeah, so we got to our church at around 8 a.m. to kind of pray for the day and get organized. And we were over to Springwood by about 9:30, and our last volunteers left at about 5 p.m. So I'd say the
Pretty long day.
Yeah, long day. And the majority of our people were there pretty much the entire time.
Was it just members of the church, or were there a few other people from the community come out?
A few family and friends of people in the church
Yeah.
came out. It was mostly members of the church.
Gotcha.
The outreach from the community, because they were there, was also far-reaching, where they were like baking cookies and making sure they had water and just bringing whatever they could bring out to them, just being appreciative they were there and helping.
Nice. By the time you were done, how many houses do you think you finally got to by the time you got to the end of the day?
Yeah, so we fixed or spruced up 2 common areas, and then it was about 28 homes that we did something on. It might have been a couple more. A couple of our guys with lawnmowers, they were they were workhorses. They were mowing lawns where people didn't answer their door and the lawn just looked too long. So yeah, it was close to 30 projects altogether.
Yeah, I'm amazed how much my lawn has grown, even though we haven't had the most rain this summer, like compared to the spring,
Right.
Must be all that rain from the spring.
It's got to be something. Well, I know, I tell you, because I walked around again, I was overtaken with emotion just seeing how hard these volunteers were working, because I came in right about their lunchtime and they were around, so I seen them, was able to, view them all right there together. And they had grass on them, they had paint stains on them. One guy was had sunburn where he was working, out all day and all, and
Wow.
everybody was so emotionally charged just because they wanted to get this done and, out there helping the community that they serve. And it was a great experience.
Now, speaking of that, Councilman, was this just about fixing up some stuff in the community, or was there more to it, would you say? Just like in the grand scheme of things.
I'll let Alex probably talk a little bit more on that because, obviously this was their organization, but as far as this went today, it was a totally an amazing, enormous outreach that this church did into this community, and it was, totally selfless. They did this all because, it was their mission and what they wanted to do. They wanted to show the outreach, and they wanted to seek out a community that was in need and be there for them, and that's what they did.
Yeah, I'd say the main objectives were really to help people with needs they had on their home, but also to make sure that they felt loved and cared for by other people. And I think we accomplished that. And for us, our motivation was just that we feel we have been overwhelmingly blessed by God, and that the only proper response for us is to share that with others. So we were not doing it to make ourselves look good. If no one ever comes to our church because of Serve Day, that is 100% okay with us. We've just been given so much, we have to give in response to that. And we really want people to feel like they're loved and cared for, and they matter and their homes matter.
Yeah, it's a touching sentiment in this day and age when it's easy to be a little self-absorbed, shall we say, and people don't have time to do this, that, and the other thing, and I hear you talk, Councilman Tackett, about being moved by this effort, and I guess kudos to everybody involved, because we live in a day and age where we're all busy, and finding time for these kinds of things, it's no easy task. So
And for
hats
people-
off to you.
Absolutely, and for their volunteers to come out and spend that day, to do this outreach into the community, and didn't ask one thing from that community or one homeowner, and everything was free, and all the services they provide, and any materials they needed, they did Home Depot runs or Lowe's runs or whatever they needed. They went and got the supplies they needed. They didn't once ask anybody to say, well, I could do that for you, but it's going to cost X amount of dollars or something. No, this was something they were totally giving back to the community that day.
Now, you mentioned the drone was taking aerial shots, I guess looking for areas in need, you know. Did anybody take any pictures or any film of the event that day?
Yeah, we had a couple photographers walking around throughout the day to get some pictures of our team and the projects. And then our tech arts coordinator was flying his drone around getting video footage, and he had a handheld camera too that he was going around to get some video footage of the camera. So we were able to kind of put together a highlight reel last Sunday for our church to show our members who weren't able to attend Serve Day, you know, the work that was accomplished.
Great, and before I forget, is there anybody you want to mention, you know, like just coordinating this efforts and you know, bringing it all together? Anyone we should mention so we don't leave them out?
I think Paula Clem, we've mentioned her once already. She was our contact at Springwood, and she was incredible. She had a list of just over 20 projects for us to tackle when we got there. Mm-hmm. So we were prepared for the work that would need to be done. And like I said, we were able to help a few other people out that just asked us throughout the day. Mm-hmm. But her effort was incredible. Councilman Tackett and Valerie in his office
George, my aide.
Yeah, they were hugely instrumental in just directing us where to go. And then all of our volunteers, you know, no one was paid to be there. They all gave of themselves, sacrificed a day. And we really stressed, and our volunteers stressed, that we were going to work on these homes like they were our own homes. We weren't just going to do an okay job and move on. We wanted to do projects that we'd be proud to say we were a part of.
Great. Well, gentlemen, I think that covers everything that we need to talk about today, unless there was anything else you wanted to add.
No, I think, Alex, didn't you, you have a link to the activities that went on that day. It shows a lot of pictures, so that's mm-hmm. something I know you don't have right now, but we could probably get you, Tony. I don't know if you had an opportunity to maybe stream a little bit of it.
Yeah, we can play it for the show, definitely.
Yeah, a little bit in the background or something. Excellent.
All right, well, I want to thank you, Councilman Tackett, Mr. Groop. Thank you very much for coming in the studio today. I really appreciate you guys coming in to talk about your experience.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Great opportunity.
My pleasure. Well, that wraps up this edition of Spotlight on Newcastle County. I hope you enjoyed today's show about Serve Day, recently held in Greater Newark. I want to thank our guests, Councilman Tackett and Alex Groop, for being here today. On behalf of County Executive Thomas B. Gordon, I want to thank you for watching NCC TV, your source for local news and information on Newcastle County, Delaware. For all of the fantastic NCC TV crew, this is Tony Prado. Thank you as always for watching. Take care.